Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2 a.m. tapes. Here we share chilling stories and mysteries that come alive when the world sleeps. So turn off the lights, put on your headphones, and listen closely. Because at 2 a.m., the tapes start to speak. They say if you stare into the abyss long enough, it starts to stare back. I always thought that was a cool quote, something for a wallpaper or a Reddit post. But that was before I found the whisper net. Now I don't sleep. Now I don't dare. It started like every other late night. I was up coding, half focused, headphones in, drowning out the real world with ambient static and synth playlists. I tend to browse weird forums when I need a break. Places full of conspiracy theories, ghost stories, ARGs that never finish. That's where I found the link. It was buried inside a dead thread on a long-abandoned darknet coding board. Just a tiny string of base 64 text posted with the caption, "Don't listen too long, it listens back." I decoded it. It led to a hidden onion site with a single sentence and a blinking cursor. You'll hear them before you see them. There was no way to interact with it, no buttons, just a soft, distant hiss from my speakers, like wind inside a cave. Then it changed. The hiss became whispering. Dozens of voices all layered on top of each other, speaking in some broken language I couldn't place. I turned the volume down. Didn't matter. Even with my speakers off, I could still hear them. Not through the laptop anymore, through the walls, behind the closet, beneath the floorboards, right outside my window. I shut everything down, killed the virtual machine, yanked the Ethernet cord. But the whispering didn't stop. I thought it would pass. A hallucination, lack of sleep. Nothing unusual for someone like me. But that night, when I stood in front of the bathroom mirror brushing my teeth, I noticed something wrong with my reflection. It blinked out of sync, just slightly. I leaned forward. So did it, but its movement lagged by a fraction of a second. I smiled. It didn't. It stared at me with the deadest expression I've ever seen on my own face. Then it tilted its head. I didn't. I dropped the toothbrush and ran. The next night was worse. At exactly 3:12 a.m., there was a knock at the wall between my room and the kitchen. A wall with nothing behind it but insulation and studs. 3 slow, deep knocks. I didn't move, didn't breathe. I sat upright in bed and just listened. The air felt thick, not cold, thick, like I was underwater. I told myself it was a dream. Until the next morning, when I noticed something burned into the wall where the knock came from. A door frame. No doorknob. No hinges, just the outline of a tall, narrow door, black as ash and warm to the touch. It wasn't there the day before. I was sure of it. And then my phone buzzed. Unknown number, no ID, just a message. You have been heard. That's when I called Jonah. Jonah was my best friend. Rational, skeptical, not into supernatural crap, but loyal enough to drive 90 minutes to see me at 2 in the morning. I didn't even have to beg. When he saw the door, he turned pale. He touched it and immediately pulled his hand back, said it felt like something moved beneath it. We tried everything. I poured salt around it. He looked up old rituals on his phone. I even tried praying, but nothing worked. That night, we both stayed awake. He dozed off at some point. I didn't. At 3:12 a.m., it happened again. 3 knocks. This time louder, closer. Then, slowly, the door outline glowed faint red. Jonah woke up and stood in front of it like he was a trance. He looked back at me and said, "I think someone's in there." I begged him not to touch it. He didn't listen. The wall rippled as his hand passed through, then his head, then his torso. I screamed, I grabbed his arm, but his skin was ice cold and slick like wet porcelain. Then he smiled at me, but it wasn't his smile. His mouth stretched too far, teeth too white, eyes too black. He whispered, "They only need one more." Then he stepped through, and the wall sealed shut like nothing had happened. I screamed until my voice broke. I didn't leave the room for days. I didn't eat. I barely breathed. Then the laptop turned on by itself. The whisper net was back, but the interface had changed. It showed a folder. Inside it, one video file, time-stamped exactly 3:12 a.m., the night Jonah vanished. I opened it. It was filmed from inside my room, from the wall. The perspective of someone, or something, watching me sleep. In the video, Jonah walked into frame. Behind him, a dozen tall, shadow-like figures stood inside the dark doorway. Not quite men, not quite beasts. They shimmered like heat waves, and each had a face. Mine. All of them. Jonah turned to the camera and said, "He doesn't know he's already been taken." The video ended. New text appeared on my screen. Echo created. Whispering begins. Then more knocks. Not 3 this time. 4. Every night after that, the knocks increased. 5, 6, 7, until one night they stopped altogether, and the whispering got louder. They stopped pretending to be outside. Now they whispered inside my head. One night I looked into the mirror and saw something behind me. My own reflection. Again. But this time it looked sick. Eyes hollow. Mouth stretched open like it had been broken. Then it turned its head to me, slowly, and smiled. It wrote on the mirror in blood, even though no blood touched the glass. The words, "You are the doorway." I ran from the apartment that night. I stayed in a hotel. I destroyed the laptop. I smashed every mirror. But no matter where I went, at 3:12 a.m. exactly, I would hear it again. The knock. One knock now, just one. Like something wasn't asking to come in anymore, but letting me know it already had. That's when the dreams started. Dreams of tunnels beneath my apartment, filled with echoes. In the dreams, I walk with a candle, but the flame burns blue and casts no light. All I can hear is whispering, my own voice, over and over, saying things I've never said. I tried telling people, a psychiatrist, a priest, even the police once. No one believed me. But they all had one thing in common. After I talked to them, they disappeared, off the grid, phones off, apartments empty, no trace. I stopped talking. And then I started changing. I would look in the mirror and not remember how I got there. Sometimes I would find scratches on my arms, symbols I don't recognize, the same ones that appeared in the WhisperNet files. Once, I woke up with dirt in my mouth and soil under my fingernails. My bed was clean, but the window was open, and across the street, in the alley, something that looked like me was standing there, watching. I don't think it wants to hurt me. I think it wants to replace me. I think it already has. Right now, as I type this, I can hear it pacing behind the wall. There's no door there anymore, not visibly, but I know it's still there. I never went back to the WhisperNet, but sometimes, when I close my eyes, I see the interface burned into the inside of my eyelids. I hear that same static, and I hear Jonah's voice, faint and broken, whispering, "We are all echoes now." If you find this story, if you read this far, whatever you do, don't listen when they whisper your name, because the second you do, you've already opened the door.